Born as the illegitimate son of a Prussian nobleman, Helmuth Schmidt's early life was marked by a turbulent education in Heidelberg and frequent participation in duels, which left him bearing scars on his face. Seeking to avoid military service, he immigrated to America in 1913, accompanied by his wife, Anita Darsch, and their daughter, Gertrude, all under the alias Emil Braun. Upon their arrival in Lakewood Township, New Jersey, Helmuth's wife mysteriously disappeared, with Helmuth explaining that she had returned to Berlin. A similar fate befell the family's female servant, Margaret Darsch, with whom Helmuth had been involved romantically. In this case, he informed his daughter that Margaret had married and relocated to Denmark. Subsequently, Helmuth entered into matrimony with Adele Ulrich from New York, facilitated by a matrimonial advertisement, and used her financial resources to acquire a house. However, Helmuth soon abandoned Adele, fraudulently selling their home in 1914, thereby pocketing $1,500. A sinister incident in their relationship came to light when Adele disclosed that Helmuth had attempted to end her life one night by deliberately crashing their car into a tree. As she lay on the ground, injured, Helmuth subjected her to a brutal assault. Her life was spared only because a passing car interrupted the attack. Adele later recounted the incident to a doctor who, in turn, threatened to have Helmuth arrested should she mysteriously disappear. Notably, Adele also reported to the police another instance in which Helmuth had erupted in a violent rage, making threats on her life when she inquired about the disused well in their house. Helmuth eventually relocated to Royal Oak, Michigan, adopting the identity of Herman Neuenberg and securing employment as a mechanic at the local Ford factory. In 1916, with the help of George Rolfe and his wife, Schmidt put out 2 matrimonial ads in the New York Herald. These ads attracted the attention of 40-year-old domestic servant Augusta Steinbach, who, after corresponding with Rolfe for a few months, set out to marry the mysterious man, bringing with herself around $500 and some jewelry. In February of 1917, she told her longtime friend and fellow servant, Agnes Domani, about her intentions to marry the man in Detroit, departing for the city in March. A few days after she left, she wrote to Miss Domani enthusiastically describing her husband-to-be, as well as asking her friend to send 3 trunks of clothes stored in a nearby warehouse. Domani complied with the request, but 3 months later her package was returned by the company, with them explaining that they couldn't locate the woman. Following this, Miss Domani wrote to the authorities in Detroit. 3 months after her request, she was visited by Sheriff O.H.P. Green, who spoke with her, but failed to locate Steinbach. He soon committed suicide, burning all papers related to the case. Despite this, Miss Domani continued to insist on the police listening to her. Eventually, Glenn Gillespie, the district attorney of Oakland County, came to visit her. After carefully examining the case, he located the elusive man from the ads, Helmuth Schmidt. Upon his arrest, Helmuth confessed that he had burned Steinbach's body, but alleged that she had killed herself with poison, following his refusal to instantly marry her in a subsequent quarrel on March 11th. Fearing that his wife and daughter would return home soon from the cinema, Schmidt dragged the body to the cellar, lifted it through a window, and then buried it under his porch. 3 months after the incident, he claimed that he dug up the body, cut it up with a cleaver, and then burned the pieces in the furnace. However, the family's strange actions were recalled by suspicious neighbors who thought they were German spies or murderers. On the night that Steinbach had disappeared, a woman's shrieks were heard from the Schmidt household, and soon after, a huge fire was lit in their furnace. The fire was so furious that smoke and sparks were reported as coming out of the chimney. The following morning, Mrs. Schmidt was seen carrying a pan full of ashes and other matter, which she dumped into a small stream. After his confession, the authorities decided to go for a lunch break. However, 10 minutes later, a large crash was heard from the cell area. Schmidt had crawled under his bed, lifted it, and then dropped it on his head, crushing his skull. His funeral was later attended only by his former wife, Adele Ulrich.